Sunday night football, Eagles, Dolphins at the Link, the rebirth of the Kelly Greens. Will the Birds be able to bounce back and come out on top? We'll break all of it down and more here on the show. What is up, everybody? RB here. Welcome into A to Z Philly. You know the drill by now. Hit the like button if you enjoy the content. Drop a comment down below. Subscribe. Ring the bell. Don't miss any of the coverage. We are back here Friday before a big game. Birds, Dolphins, both sitting at 5-1. How about Jalen Hurts finally going up against Tua Tagovailoa? This is going to be one for the season. In fact, could it actually be the game of the year so far? We'll break all of it down, man. You know the drill. Drop your score predictions. Drop your final predictions down below in the comments. I'll give mine later on, but we're going to talk about a lot of it. Before we do, though, shout out to our sponsor of today's show, BetMGM. Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up with the code ATOZPA and receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you do not win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to parlay selection features, live betting options, player props, and daily boosted odds specials. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever. So find out why BetMGM is the king of sportsbooks. Sign up today, download the app, use bonus code ATOZPA, and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you do not win your first bet. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. A.J. Brown has now gone way over 4 weeks in a row. Will he be able to keep that up? Honestly, I think he will. I'm smashing the over again until he proves us wrong. I'm taking the over on AJ, man. But the more important question is, will the Birds win? Eagles and Dolphins. Here's some fun facts real quick from Eagles Nation on Twitter. The last time the Eagles hosted the Dolphins in the Kelly Green. All right, the link's going to be electric. A little bit chilly at night. Could that affect the game? Could that affect the Dolphins? Maybe, but the link will be rocking. There's no doubt about that. The last time the Eagles played the Dolphins in Kelly Green, Doug Peterson was the Dolphins quarterback. The Eagles quarterback was Ken O'Brien, who was filling in after Randall Cunningham's season-ending injury. And the Dolphins won, which made Don Shula the winningest coach in NFL history. So now we get the rematch, man. I cannot wait to rock that Kelly Green jersey. I'm going to be fired up. The Birds need to come out with their best performance. A quick update today. Elliott Short Park says Devontae Smith, Lane Johnson, Darius Slay, and Jalen Carter are all practicing. However, Reed Blankenship is not practicing. And that's kind of where I want to start with this game. This is a tough one to predict, and maybe it doesn't sound the most appealing to the listeners out there, but I don't know if I can actually pick this game yet because of the tentative injuries, like who's going to play and who's not, right? I honestly think that could determine this game. If we look at the injury report here for the Philadelphia Eagles, right? Lane Johnson has been, back at practice. Will he be able to go? Will he be the usual strong Lane? We saw the impact of not having him last week. If he can go, then I feel a lot better about the Eagles' chances. Devontae Smith, Jalen Carter, if he's back and he's, the normal Jalen Carter we've seen in the first 4 or 5 weeks, then yeah, I feel a lot more confident. Darius Slay will be back. I think that'll be huge. Sidney Brown is back, right? The Eagles are going to need everybody in this game. And then on the other side of the ball, for the Dolphins in their secondary, Xavier Howard, right? He's been banged up. He did not practice on Wednesday. I mean, we're going to get the updated injury reports later today, but, they're dealing with injuries. Van Ginkel, right? Jalen Ramsey starting to practice. Doesn't seem like he'll go. Connor Williams could be huge on the offensive line for the Dolphins, right? If he's not able to go, maybe the Eagles are able to get to Tua quicker and they're able to put him on the ground. I just think there are a lot of injuries or tentative injuries that could really decide this game could go either way. So it's going to be hard for me to pick this game, but I will do so. The Philadelphia Eagles in this game need to come out and they need to play their cleanest game. They need to put it all together. They have not done that yet. And last week was probably one of the most embarrassing losses we have seen in a long time to give it up the way they did. Jalen needs to reflect, look at the mirror, and look at himself and play better. Brian Johnson needs to be better. The Eagles are going to have to make the most of every opportunity in this game. When they get down to the red zone, they can't just keep settling for field goals. They're going to have to take risks in this game. They're going to have to use all their weapons You know the Dolphins are going to do that. The Dolphins are coming into this game. They have had one of the most high-powered offenses in recent history. They have been absolutely incredible. Now I'm going to look at the numbers here. The Dolphins are averaging 317 yards in the air per game. They're averaging almost 500 total, which is absolutely bonkers, right? But a 5-1 matchup against two really good teams. The Dolphins are bringing their best to the link on Sunday night. I know it's going to be electric. The fans got to be into it. But the Dolphins to average 317 yards in the air per game. The next highest is 264 by the Kansas City Chiefs. That is an insane difference. The Eagles secondary is going to have to be on it. The defense has played pretty well, but right, they're going to try to exploit some of these matchups. You know, the Josh Jobs of the world, and, you know, maybe Josiah Scott gets some reps in there. Eli Ricks has been banged up. Who's going to be that third guy, right? If Slay's back, Bradbury, who's going to be in the slot? The Dolphins are going to do a lot of the things that I actually have been calling for the Eagles to do. They're going to get a lot of yard after catch opportunities for their guys. The Tyreek Hills of the world, the Jalen Waddles, right? The Braxton Berrios, Raheem Mostert. Obviously, Devin Achane is out, but the Dolphins have so many weapons, and Tua is one of the quickest quarterbacks in the league when it comes to getting the ball out. So the Eagles are going to have to find a way to get pressure. They're now starting to accumulate these sacks. They still put Wilson on the ground 5 times last game. If they can get to Tua and bang him up a little bit, if Connor Williams doesn't go, then I do feel that this could sway in the Eagles' favor. At the same time, the Philadelphia Eagles need to find their offense because, again, DeAndre Swift has essentially been shut down for 3 games, and Brian Johnson has gotten away from the running game, and during the week, what he said about not running the ball as much really concerned me. It seemed like they didn't care. If the Dolphins secondary is banged up, the Eagles cannot just come out blatantly and throw, because then if it doesn't work for a couple possessions, they get down, then they're going to keep throwing, and you could back yourself into a hole here. The Miami Dolphins could easily go up 7 to 10 points in this game. You have to stay within your identity. I've said it all along. You got to balance it out. And Jalen Hurts is going to have to play better. Simple as that. And I think this game really signifies not only a lot for, you know, the Eagles Dolphins, because honestly, this could be a Super Bowl matchup right here. If the Eagles start clicking and the Dolphins stay hot, this could be a Super Bowl matchup. It doesn't just signify one regular season game or even the playoff landscape or how good these teams can be. It signifies a lot for the career of Jalen Hurts, right? He's going up against Tua. Finally, this is the matchup we've been waiting for. Primetime football. Both teams are 5-1. We all know the backstory, the benching at Alabama, right? He has a lot to prove in this game. He doesn't look like himself so far from last year. If Jalen comes out and plays his best freaking game of the year and the Eagles find a way to beat this high-powered offense, nobody's going to give a damn about what happened to the Jets or the week before or almost losing to the Commanders. You come out here, win this game, you make a freaking statement. You let the rest of the league know that this Eagles team is putting the world on notice, right? You have to finally put it all together. I just don't know how confident I am in that happening until I see it this year. Because yes, right, we've talked about, the Vikings and the Bucks, they haven't played the best teams. When they get down the line, when they play the best teams, you can't do these things. You can't make these mistakes. Well, guess what? Here you go. Here's your first real test, your first big matchup. And I mean, I have fear of these Dolphins weapons. I'll be honest. Now, on the opposite side, the Dolphins defense has been suspect. They're dealing with injuries. I think this is going to be a high-powered shootout. But the Eagles, I would expect to have to really decide when to pick their spots here to be aggressive, right? Tyreek Hill has 814 yards in 6 games. He could have, eventually have 1,000 yards in a couple days in just 7 games, which is nuts, right? They're going to try to get these guys open, running in space. You got to tackle well. You cannot turn the ball over. You can't make these mistakes. You can't miss field goals. I don't expect Jake Elliott to do that. I just think you have to play literally a perfect game, and you have to come out here and win this in a shootout. I think you got to win it in a shootout. And I think the Dolphins have more playmakers right now. I think the Eagles have a lot of weapons, but I just don't know how confident I am in Brian Johnson keeping the formula together for a full 4 quarters because the Eagles have not done it yet this year. This is going to be a real test of who the Eagles are. This game will tell us a lot. Not saying it doesn't mean they're a contender or they are or whatever, because they have a lot of big games coming up. But this game is going to really define who this team is. If they can bounce back after being embarrassed last week and they can come out here and put a beating on this Dolphins team, then I think people are going to start talking about them as, being back in Super Bowl contention. Like, I think the talent's there, but they have to put it on display. And man, I just think there's a lot of different ways you can, lose this football game. You can't make those big mistakes. And again, you have to capitalize. You can't get too cute with the quarterback keepers, right? And the Dolphins are going to do a lot of these bubble screens and these little quick slant routes and throw it in the flat. You got to tackle. You can't let them, go for a big 70-yard run with a Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle. Man, you got to come out here and establish your dominance. You got to punch them in the face, right? If the Eagles could go up 14-0, how would that, feel, right? The Dolphins can come back from that, but put them in a hole, man. Put them in a hole. And I think it's just really hard to pick this game until we see the updated injury report. I don't know. I'm leaning towards the Dolphins in this game just because I think they have put it together more. I mean, they're averaging 37 points per game, which is insane. But if the Eagles have these weapons back, then I might lean towards the Eagles. So I think it's up in the air, but I do think it'll be a high-powered shootout. Give me your final thoughts and your predictions. Can the Eagles come out and win this football game on Sunday night? I know the link will be rocking Kelly Greens. I'm pumped. Give me your thoughts down below in the comment section. As always, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That being said, I will catch you all on the next one. Peace.